13 Reasons Why, a popular Netflix series that has gained the attention of teens and youth everywhere. Could this sinister series be the start of a string of suicides amongst our millennials? An article from the Christian Headlines reads, 13 Reasons Why labeled a ticking time bomb for teens and children. This article reads, a TV watchdog group issued an urgent warning this week to parents and schools about Netflix's second season of the suicide-themed 13 Reasons Why, saying the series will leave children and teens feeling even more hopeless and depressed. The new season shows a group of boys sodomizing a teenage boy with a mop handle, and then shows the victim plotting revenge by planning a school shooting, said the Watchdog Parents Television Council on its blog. Netflix has delivered a ticking time bomb to teens and children who watch 13 Reasons Why. The content and thematic elements of the second season are even worse than we expected, said PTC President Tim Winter. We would have liked to have 13 reasons for hope and redemption following the graphic suicide of the lead female teen character, but rather than providing a path forward, the season only provides a cause for despondency. According to the PTC, viewers learn about a pattern of predatory sexual behavior by the jocks against the school's female students, the school failing to protect the bullied kids, and the administration protecting the athletic department. After Netflix released Season 1, Google saw a 26% spike in the phrase, how to commit suicide. Melissa Henson, PTC Program Director, watched the entire second season. If you come into the series with feelings of hopelessness or depression, you'll never walk away from the series feeling any better, she said. And if you're not feeling that way, the series will make you feel hopeless and depressed. For kids who are already at risk or being bullied or abused, the show may only serve to trigger those feelings and create dangerous real-life circumstances. We urge parents and schools to be alert and on guard in the weeks and months ahead.
A mother in Florida says she blames a popular Netflix series for her daughter's recent suicide attempt.
There is nothing left worth having except justice for our daughter.
The second season of the controversial 13 Reasons Why is currently streaming on the service. The first season is about a teen who leaves messages to the 13 people she claims are responsible for her death.
Hey, it's Hannah.
Just before she takes her own life. The Florida mother, who gave an anonymous interview to a local newspaper, said her daughter tried to hurt herself in a manner identical to the teen in the show. The mother also claimed her daughter was part of a suicide pact with 4 other teens, some of whom urged her to go through with it over Snapchat. Netflix released a statement saying it was, quote, very saddened to hear about this and grateful to those who intervened to help. This isn't the first time families have claimed the series has inspired similar events. Last year, 2 teenage girls killed themselves days apart after watching the show, according to their families. They did not know each other. At the time, Netflix also expressed its condolences and added, quote, we have heard from many viewers that 13 Reasons Why has opened up a dialogue around the intense themes and difficult topics depicted in the show. The teen in Florida is now reportedly recovering at home.
There's a new Netflix drama called 13 Reasons Why. It debuted this spring, and since its release, the show has drawn attention for its graphic depiction of suicide and other very depressing and adult topics.
Settle in, because I'm about to tell you the story of my life. More specifically, why my life ended. And if you're listening to this tape, you're one of the reasons why.
Well, now families of 2 teenage girls in the state of California are blaming the show for their daughter's suicides. Bella Herndon and Priscilla Chui, both just 15, apparently binge-watched the show and then hanged themselves shortly after. Do the show's creator deserve some blame for these deaths, or is that ludicrous? Gina Loudon is a psychology expert, and she joins us now. Dr. Loudon, thanks a lot for coming on. So I wonder if there's not a middle ground here between them. Maybe the show is totally reprehensible, which I'm very willing to believe, but not responsible for actions that people who watch it take. What's your view?
Well, I think that there's one thing that we need to note here that I think a lot of people are largely unaware of, and that is the fact that the part of our brain that controls the rational decision-making part, think of it like the remote control to an entertainment center, Tucker, that part of our brain isn't fully developed until sometimes in our mid to late 20s. So children, teenagers up until their mid-20s are thinking largely based on their emotional center of their brain, making less rational decisions and less able to take in information and make good decisions. And so when you have a show like this that does two things, one is it says you can't trust adults, right? Adults are obtuse and they might not help you. But the second and perhaps more dangerous thing this show does is it equates suicide with revenge. Anyone who's worked in suicide in psychology knows that suicide is not revenge. Suicide hurts the people you love the most and doesn't hurt the people who hurt you. So the glorification of those two things in this series are extremely dangerous, and I do think that Netflix at least needs to be aware of this.
Well, I'm sure they are aware, but they don't care. I mean, you just made the point that young people have problems making rational decisions. This show wasn't made by young people. It was made by adults who hope to get rich from it. How would you evaluate their decision-making, putting something like this on the air?
I honestly don't think it's good, and I don't think they should continue with the second season. So then what can be done? Well, of course, there are legal courses of actions from families when their daughters have committed suicide. There have been suicides in other countries that they believe are based on this series. And we've proven again and again in studies, Tucker, that the incidence of suicide increases about 20 times for those considering it when suicide is in any way depicted on television. And that's across populations, not just teenagers. So this is dangerous. And my question for Netflix would be, how many children are worth you continuing this show? I think it's a question that Netflix should take a serious look at.
I mean, suicide is obviously at the way far end of the continuum, but there's a lot of space between that and normal. And you've got to kind of wonder, what's the effect on the majority of the viewers? Like, why would you put something like this on the air that is obviously subversive in a bad way? And why does nobody ever say anything about it? You know, there's this industry churning out all kinds of this garbage that poisons kids, and nobody ever says anything. Why?
Right, and targeting teen audiences.
Exactly.
I think they don't say anything because the edgier you can be, as far as Hollywood is concerned, and we've seen it displayed this week in grand style, the edgier you can be, the more you get ratings and eyeballs. And I want to give a caution, too, to the people out there who are wanting to fault the parents of these two girls that committed suicide, and that is it. I want you to know, if your children have a smartphone, they can get this series on Netflix without you even knowing it. And so there's no point, Tucker, in saying that we as a society can't be held accountable for imposing this sort of rhetoric that is really dangerous on the immature minds of people in their late teens to early 20s. It's very dangerous.
You know, I really feel partly at fault for not putting the names and photographs and email addresses of the producers of the show up on our screen. I really wish I had, because they deserve to hear from the public on this. Gina, thanks a lot.
And suicide hotline numbers, too. Thank you so much for covering this, Tucker.
Thank you.
Is 13 Reasons Why worth the watch? Is it worth the innocent lives of our teenagers and children in today's society? Leave your comment in the comment section below, and thank you for watching.